welcome to the 7th annual Shining Star Dinner Awards Night, sponsored by the North Branford Education Foundation. We're just going to get us started. We're going to have Principal Alan Davis come up to lead us in the national anthem. I'm sorry, the Pledge of Allegiance. I tried to get him to sing the national anthem. He said no.
Would everyone please stand? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Remain standing. Frank Forgione will come up and lead us in a prayer.
Dear Lord, please bless this gathering and the bounty which we are about to receive. And please ensure that your goodwill continues to inspire those in this room so that they may continue to perform the outstanding deeds and acts which help so many others in society today. God bless everyone in this room and travel safely.
Amen. Please remain noms. You can sit down. All right. Scott, the manager, not Scott, the superintendent, his crew will now tell you when to start going to the tables for dinner. Enjoy the dinner. I'll be back. All right, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Frank Mentone. I'm the president of the Education Foundation. I'm sorry that you have to put up with me, but Chris Rock wasn't available tonight. First thing I'd like to do before we get started, and I know I'm going to miss some of this because I write my own notes and I really can't see. I'd like to introduce, first of all, our board of directors, Frank Forgione, Sherry Ardeen, Stephanie Bilskis, Alan Davis, Bruno Castaldi, Kathy Slabowski, Joya Delzani, and Al Teixeira. I would also like to introduce someone. Frank, if you can come up here, where are you? Oh, you're up here. Hey, that's good. She's not on the board, but every year, we run 3 or 4 events, and 2 of them involve these ad books. And if you've ever seen the Totucket Times, which I hope you have, most of the words are spelled wrong, and they're not really spelled wrong, it's typos. But Anna, the secretary at the Board of Ed, Scott's secretary, every year takes hours to read my writing and put the book together. So we'd like her to come up today, and we'd like to acknowledge her hard work. You can give them to her. I got my hands full. I won't kiss you, I got a cold.
Huh?
Ah, the hell with it.
I'll get it anyway.
Okay, here's where me trying to read my writing comes in. I'd like to acknowledge some other people that are here today. Mayor Mike Duty. Superintendent of Schools, Scott Schoonmaker. My grandson told me I don't have an outside voice, so I'm trying to yell. Can you hear me in the back? Huh? When I'm in the light. Oh, when I'm in the mic. All right. Superintendent of Schools, Scott Schoonmaker. Director of Curriculum, Tracy Wooten. High School Principal, Todd Steffler. TVS Principal, Chris Lindsay. MBIS Principal Alan Davis, MBIS Assistant Principal Keith O'Rourke, Jerome Harrison Principal Carter Welch, Director of Technology Bruce Williams, Director of Special Services, I can't read Scott's writing, Sue-Ann Wright, I also have Nancy Bianchi. That's the Director of Services. Oh, I wrote that. Okay. Hey, we told you you'd be at a class affair today, so. Who else? Board of Education members, Diane Vumbach, Debbie Prunair, and Marcia Onofrio. And the first president of the North Branford Education Foundation, Marie Diamond. And if you're important and I didn't read your name, I'm sorry. Blame Scott, because he probably didn't think you were, no. All right, I got one more page to read. Let's see. Previous Shining Star recipients: Vincent Candelora, Fran Marola. Representing her husband, Ed Slabowski, is Kathy Slabowski, Rose Angeloni, Bruno Castaldi, Bill Chody, Al Teixeira, and John Florio. Briefly, for those of you who don't know what the Education Foundation does, we have 3 or 4 fundraisers a year where the community gets together in an event like this, or the basketball Harlem Superstars, or Breakfast with Santa, where not only does the community get together, but we also raise funds to give to the teachers. They're grants that we give to the teachers in the school to do projects that aren't necessarily covered by the budget. For instance, we bought uniforms for the high school band, uniforms for the high school glee club. We helped pay for the press box at the high school football field. And we've done a number of other things, but those are the 3 that I'll highlight. And if you are interested, my number's here. We're always looking for board members. And call me. All right, so now we're ready to go. Our first shining star this evening is a couple combination here. Terry and Jimmy Esposito from TJ Laundrette. And here to present his mother and father is Nurse Jim Esposito.
Guys look great. Great.
Gotta talk into the mic.
Gotta talk into the mic. Yeah, that works. Okay. Guys look wonderful this evening. I have to figure out what dry cleaner you guys use so I can use the same one. Fantastic. So, good evening, everyone. I would like first to begin by thanking all in attendance this evening for your overwhelming support of our beloved Shining Stars. I'm truly thrilled to be a part of such a wonderful celebration of some of our community's most selfless and kind-hearted individuals. The compassion and giving nature displayed by those honored here tonight help to fully encompass what it means to be a team player. I say team player as one individual cannot make up the entirety of a winning club. All of you here this evening are that team, and without your shared passion, enthusiasm, and support, our shining stars would not be able to radiate all of the glow in which they possess. Setting personal achievements and recognition aside, our shining stars are those who put themselves secondary to the well-being and growth of others. It is through these altruistic deeds that North Branford is transformed from a simple rural town into the place we all call home. As renowned civil rights activist Cesar Chavez once said, "We cannot seek achievement for ourselves and forget about progress and prosperity for our community. Our ambitions must be broad enough to include the aspirations and needs of others, and for their sake and for our own." 26 short years ago, my parents made the second best decision of their lives when they opened their original business, TJ's Laundrette in Wallingford, Connecticut. I say that this was the second best decision of their lives, as the first is reading this wonderful introductory speech this evening. After 14 years of perennial friendships and devoted service to the town of Wallingford, my mother and father felt it was best to bring their service and expertise home to our beloved Northford Center. Over the course of these now 13 plus years, this second TJ's Laundrette has become so much more than just another mom and pop store. Instead, the business has become a gathering place for town residents to greet one another, share a cup of coffee or two, exchange stories about their children and how they can't believe how old they're getting, and even fold a few socks and underwear in between. This simple town laundromat and dry cleaners has become a center for current events, merchandise sales for our athletic teams and organizations, and has even served as a place of employment for many of our town students throughout the years. The contributions that both my mother and father have made to this town make me nothing short of the proudest son. To me, their good deeds and gentle smiles seem endless, as is their desire to extend a helping hand to anyone who may need one. They are both far too humble to realize all that they do for others, but I suppose that this trait is exactly what makes them shining stars. They have backstopped a plethora of school and community fundraisers, many of which even long after I had graduated from North Branford High School. Their involvement has never been about bettering themselves or about making their business name more recognizable. They never hesitate to acknowledge those who serve our community through discounted services, prompt turnarounds, and even without accepting payment. When you walk through the doors, you are their family. When asked to speak briefly about what this business means to them in the Totucket Times, my parents simply remarked, "We love being here for our neighbors, as they have always been here for us." On a personal level, I can go on and on about the countless opportunities that my parents have afforded me over the years, many of which I owe to our business. As I'm sure many of you know, hockey and college are certainly not cheap. So I'd like to take a moment to thank all of you for dirting a few extra pair of jeans for me here and there along the way. It means a lot. All kidding aside, their love and support from the day that I laced up my first pair of ice skates to the early mornings that I come home from a tiring shift at the hospital have never wavered. However, this event is not about me. In fact, it is not about my parents either. It is about two selfless individuals who represent an even greater number of townspeople who lead each day as role models, making our town one worth being proud of. Over the years, I have watched both my mother and father triumph various health ailments, financial obstacles, and even the physical drain of working 7 days per week. With that being said, however, I can stand here this evening before you and say without reservation that not a single day has gone by where they are not grateful for all that this business has become to them, for all that you have become to them. Family, friends, and most importantly, their biggest fans. I know that this event is to honor this year's shining stars. However, as you can probably tell, Jimmy and Terry Esposito have been my shining stars long, long before this evening. Thank you all.
We're gonna do a photo first. With the, I can stand right in the back as a backdrop.
You didn't hear his
Thank you, Jimmy. I don't know if we'll be able to top that, but we're going to try. On behalf of my family and the TJ family, we wish to take this opportunity to not only thank everyone and express our sincere appreciation for this award, but we also want to give recognition to this program that provides the community with an opportunity to publicly acknowledge the contributions made by certain individuals who have worked and dedicated their time and energy for the betterment of our community. This unexpected recognition of our efforts has been a very pleasant surprise. We have always tried to keep a modest tone and model our lives under the premise that actions speak louder than words. While growing up, it had always been my family's belief that your reward and judgment in life will be recognized from the things you do, not only to help the less fortunate, but through your selfless achievements, leadership, and community service exhibited by you. Because of these efforts are the reason that we are assembled here tonight. It has been so rewarding for all of us here tonight to know that these efforts have not gone unnoticed. We are so fortunate and blessed to live in such a compassionate and caring community with individuals that sacrifice personal time for the greater good of our citizenship. The TJ Launderet family fully understands the importance of building strong partnerships for the long-term investment in our children, families, community neighbors, and our customers. We are proud to call this town our home and realize that our success would not be possible without the outpouring of community support. We hope everyone, like us, gains the personal satisfaction, not only in giving back to the community, but providing a way for the entire citizenship to more fully appreciate the town and residents. The TJ family will continue doing so as we find great satisfaction in working with the community and the public. I guess you all can see and say we really love what we do.
Also, we want to acknowledge someone in the TJ family whose efforts and dedication to the community through our business have been never-ending. We would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude, to Mrs. Denise Wentworth. And honey, for her compassion, service, and going that extra mile. One can't help but notice her continued commitment and positive impact she provides for the community. We characterize the degree of her service and personal involvement as above and beyond the call of duty. I'd like to close by thanking you all for your support. You are a great group of people who recognize those for their humility and efforts for this community. Thank you.
Terry, you've come a long way from the deli counter in North Haven when we were When we were teenagers 100 years ago, Terry worked in a deli in North Haven. And she used to make me sandwiches. And I always used to get extra meat, so you can blame her for this. But I won't tell you why I asked for extra meat, but it had to do with the angle that she stood when she sliced the extra cold cuts. So I used to pay the extra price for the extra meat. Now, 40 years later, she's folding my underwear. Anyway, with that said, our next shining star was at one point a member of our North Branford Education Foundation Board of Directors, and she was instrumental in starting, if those of you who know Scott, you know, he'll come to a meeting and he'll throw something out. So in November, he came to a meeting and said, why don't you guys have a pancake breakfast for Christmas? Breakfast with Santa. I said, yeah, good idea. That's in November. It's November, Scott. Like, when would we do this? Next month. I said, well, let's put it on the books for next year. And Brandy stood up, because she never gets excited. And she said, that's the best idea I heard yet. We can do it in a month. We'll do this, we'll do that. I'll call this one, I'll call that one. Well, we had our first one, and I think we've done 4 now. And every year it gets bigger. And someday Alan's going to get arrested for us beating the fire code in the middle school cafeteria, but that's another story. He was going to get arrested one year, and we made Anthony Esposito a shining star, so we sort of calmed him down a little. But without further ado, Rosemary Phillips is here to present Brandy Little.
She owes me big time. I'd like to start off by congratulating all of the shining stars tonight. It is well deserved by all of you. They say that the brightest stars are those who shine for the benefit of others. I truly believe that. When Brandy told me, notice I said told me, not asked me, that I had to speak tonight, I thought, oh boy, now what has she gotten me into? It's always an element of surprise when you're in Brandy's company. When she was nominated for this award, she wanted to decline it because she didn't think she deserved the recognition. And it's only because everything that she does isn't a big deal to her, since it comes naturally and from her heart. For many of us, Brandy has been an asset in our children's school experiences going back to nursery school. We, the parents and children, have been blessed to have her on all of our journeys, from kindergarten all the way to the present. So why did Brandy get nominated? I'm going to name just a few things that she has done within the school system for the betterment of the students, faculty, and administration. Let's see. She was a room parent, chaperoned field trips, assisted teachers in the class for various projects, field days, Halloween parades, music days, art room and mosaic tiles, talent shows, NBIS play rehearsals, makeup, hair, stage, selling tickets, scavenger hunts, PTO president, fundraisers, fall activity nights, Christmas parties, decorating the schools for the back-to-school day, scholastic book fairs, teacher appreciation day, holiday secret sale, planning, setting up, running it, helping kids shop and tearing it down, organizing PTO dances, chaperoning PTO dances, Potato Fest fundraising, movie nights, homework club, community roundup, scholarship committee, attending games that her kids don't even play in, and cheering for all of the kids, including the opponents when they did something good. Like I said, just to name a few. There are so many hours of planning, organizing, and scheduling that go on, and she always makes it look so effortless. Brandy has been there for our children when we couldn't be there because of our jobs, commitments, and our schedules. Whether she is there or behind the scenes, she does this because she truly loves our children. She attends all of the budget meetings and town council meetings and served on the Board of Education because she has a vested interest in the children's education and the well-being of the town. After the Newtown incident, Brandy was on the phone the next day asking what she can do to help the kids, faculty, and administration to feel safe and protected. It was a trying time while the district was making decisions on the next plan of action, but Brandy already stepped into a role of being the first contact as you entered TVES. Prior to this, she was going to ask if she could work in the library. Imagine Brandy in a library. Just remember, you owe me. I can say whatever I want right now. Kiddingly, she will tell people that she has a very important job as the greeter at TVES. And in all honesty, what she does for the children and faculty every day is important and more than you can know. She is their safety net, a smiling face to start off their day, a friend to a child who may not have one at school. She is the crazy lady that will sit and eat her lunch with the kids and listen and laugh about their stories, or braid their hair on the playground and remind them of their manners, dance down the hallway and sing a song, or chase you on the bus until you say goodbye. She tells the youth football players that she knows all of the high school football players and names them all off, which makes her very famous among the up-and-coming athletes. Speaking of sports, if you have never had the opportunity to attend a game with Brandy, well, it is a sport within itself. She thinks we wear our earmuffs at the football games because it's very cold outside, but we all know better. It's hard to explain why we wear them inside at the basketball games. Brandy knows all of the cheers so well and helps the cheerleaders so much, just in case the fans can't hear the cheers they're cheering. This year, they ended up giving her a set of pom-poms. I guess if you can't beat them, join them. Thank goodness it wasn't a megaphone. Whether it's Magical Monday, Terrific Tuesday, Wacky Wednesday, Tie-Dye Thursday, or yes, French Fry Friday, she is behind the scenes. And if you ever get a phone call from her at 10 o'clock at night, you can bet that you're going to be cutting, gluing, or coloring something with her till 3 a.m. because most likely she came up with a brainstorm that is due first thing in the morning. If she tells you she has an idea, my suggestion is to just run for the hills, because once she gets you, you are hook, line, and sinker, and there's no way you're getting out of it. No is not in her vocabulary. In all honesty, Brandy is passionate, enthusiastic, and has the most fun-loving personality. She has a laugh that can be heard from miles away that is so contagious because you just can't help but smile when you hear it. Brandy's light shines from the inside out. She always has the children's best interests at heart and genuinely cares for each and every one of them. She is true blue through and through and will do anything for anyone. As I stated from the beginning, this only comes naturally and from the heart, and I'm glad Brandy came tonight because we all need shining stars in our lives. Something simple can change your day. Something simple can change your way. It's in your heart, not your mind. It's something good inside you'll find. Don't ever forget who you are. You will always be our shining star. Thank you. Brandy, there's one more surprise for you, so you have to. Oh, okay.
Dr. Lindsay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to push over here.
Okay.
You guys stay in front, remember? Never see you stop.
You want us to hold the flowers, or you
Yeah,
want to hold them
no,
over?
you can take them.
Thank you, Dr. Lindsay.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rosemary. You are a wonderful friend. You are my partner in crime, and I am blessed to have you a part of my life. Okay. Oh, okay, sorry. I would like to thank the Ed Foundation. It is crazy to me to be honored for doing something you just do, and you love doing it. I also want to thank the recipients, Terry and Jimmy. I promise I will be in there to pick my dry cleaning up. I promise. Chris Manor. You may. Chris and I had a little, he would see me and say, oh, how many tickets you sell? Oh, how many tickets you sell? Yes, we all know Chris sold the most. Surprise. Lisa, sorry. So, you may have more people here tonight, but the Ed Foundation couldn't find a place large enough to accommodate all my people that wanted to come. So, with that said, they are all here in spirit. For those of you who don't know, I am the greeter at TVES. I came into work today, and my desk was decorated with shining stars coming down and around, and flowers, and this. These are 400. Did you hear that? 400 of my friends that signed this because they were so proud of me being a shining star. Put that pen down. Put it down. So anyway, let's see. Yeah. All kidding aside, I am honored to be here tonight to receive this award. Freddie and Grace, my two children. I am, and Sydney. I am so proud of you every day. You make me proud of the decisions you make, the friends you have. I'm so proud that I'm your mother. Thank you. To my husband, Fred, thank you. None of this would be possible. I was a stay-at-home mom for 12 years, and he worked very, very hard so that I could stay home. And then I did get a job at TVES after Newtown, and I work 3 days a week so that I can still be a big part of my children's life with all their activities and their friends' activities. So without you, I wouldn't be here tonight, so thank you. To my edit and revising team. Rosie Angeloni, Laura Petrello, and Cindy Tirolo. I have to tell you, when you're nominated, and I was on the Ed Foundation, so you would think I would know this, but what you read in the paper, we have to write that. I found it very overwhelming to write about myself. I'm sorry, Frank. Well, it's very overwhelming to write about yourself and not sound, sound. So I start with a capital and I end with a period, and it's about 5 pages long. And I'm all over the place, but my edited and revising team came through for me and made me sound amazing. So thank you. Mwah. To my family and friends who are here tonight, and my little friends over in the corner, I can't thank you enough for being here. It really means so much to me because I get it. It's a Thursday night. We all have lives, and it really, really means a lot to me that you took the time to, support me tonight. So thank you very much. To my mom and dad, my mom isn't here physically, but I know she's looking down and she is very proud of me tonight. My parents were fantastic role models. They were at all of my sporting events. My mother was the room mother. She was on field trips. She was everything. My parents were everything that I wanted to be. The feeling of, when you're in, 3rd grade and your mother comes in as the room parent, parents, you have no idea the impact that is for a little kid to see their parent come in. And when my mother would come in, I would be like, I'm the cat's meow. So, it was just, I thank my parents for that. Let's see, what else? My parents, they were at all my sporting events. They rooted on not only me, but they rooted on all the kids. My parents had an open door policy. My friends were in and out. And I kind of strived to be that way because, it was wonderful. It was wonderful. So, Dad, thank you. I love you. I love being a part of this community. I love being involved. I always say to my kids and to all my other little friends in the back, you are never getting this time back. You're never getting it back. So get involved. So I'm getting involved because I'm never getting this time back. My daughter's a sophomore. My son's in 8th grade. I'm not getting this time back. So I try to be involved as much as I can. So my philosophy is, just do it. But I did forget one person, and I'm sorry, Mr. Winicki. I want to thank you also for being a part of this Shining Star event. Who on earth would have thought that you and I would be receiving this together? Mr. Winicki, you must feel honored. Thank you so much, everybody.
As Brandy was talking about competing with Chris for the most tickets sold, I gotta say this event is probably harder on the recipients and their families because they know it's a fundraiser and they know there's a lot of pressure. Not that I give people pressure, but that we want to get a big crowd, we want to honor people, we want to raise some funds. So normally when you call people, the first thing they say is, why me? Except for Chris, he said, it's about time you got it right. This is your 7th annual and now you got me? But I'm trying to think of fundraisers as we go along, and whoever organized Brandy that 400 signatures next year, remind me. We'll do that with each person. And if they could get 400 signatures, $2 a signature, we don't even have to come. We could just take the money and go. And finally, your mother, I was listening, your mother was a room mother and you were just so happy. Yeah, when I was a kid, my mother was a room mother. When she came in the room, it was to beat me. So I didn't get that happy, warm, fuzzy feeling that you've been getting, so. But anyway, thank you and congratulations. And next is a shining star who definitely felt that he deserved it. And here to introduce him is Lisa Douglas.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the North Branford Education Foundation Shining Star Dinner. Congratulations to each of our honorees for a well-deserved night of recognition. A special thanks to all of the friends and family and neighbors and colleagues and young athletes in attendance. For those of you who may not know me, I am Lisa Douglas, Chris Manner's other half. I am here tonight to speak on behalf of my shining star. For those of you who are at Chris's 40th in this room, you may remember celebrating Chris at Manor Woods, a casino created just for him for one of his big birthdays. Or maybe you came to the former Amato's Pavilion with Danny Magic, the magician, for yet another celebration. If not, maybe you came to his retirement from North Branford PD a few years ago when his friends and colleagues again honored him. He was compared to Disney's superhero, Mr. Incredible, and after only a few months, he returned to this line of work by joining the Branford Police Force under Kevin Halloran. So if this is your first celebration of Chris Manner, perhaps our paths will cross again when he's ready to retire from Branford. Let me just say that honoring Chris, being his campaign manager and recognizing his accomplishments, how he's always bettering our community, has become a full-time job. At times it can be exhausting, but I can think of no better person to share tonight with. He is my best friend. He inspires us all, and he makes us all laugh for sure. I will take this opportunity that Frank and the Education Foundation has given to me to honor him again. What makes a person a shining star? I wondered how the North Branford Education Foundation came up with that. Of course, being a teacher, I decided I would look it up. Shining, radiant, brilliant, brightness, distinguished, glittery. Star, a celestial body, a body that is gaseous and luminous and of great mass, a brilliant performer. I suddenly remembered the field trips to the Bridgeport Planetarium on Park Avenue when I was a kid. I remember the dome ceiling and the enthusiastic astronomy presenter that was about to use a laser pointer to show us fifth graders all of the coolest constellations in the sky. I remember tipping my seat back as the lights dimmed and there were over 2,500 stars appearing. As he talked on and on, there were only two constellations that stayed with me. One was Orion's Belt that I can still point out to my own children now. Orion's Belt formed 10 million years ago, the most famous, three aligned stars on the Hunter's Belt, the stars that helped ancient Egyptians with the placement of their pyramids. Those were the three stars that were the easiest you could see no matter where you were in the world. Those stars are here at Woodwinds tonight, the Espositos, Don Winnicki, and Brandy Little. If you went out on the street and asked people at random the brightest star in the sky, odds are they would probably pick Polaris, the twinkling North Star. Manner. The North Star, it just appears. It is visible, a celestial body. Other stars in the universe circle around it. I thought to myself, that's it. Chris is always twinkling wherever he goes. Everybody knows Chris Manner. Then I thought about that planetarium. All of those stars had something in common. They were easily seen, and after all those years, I still remembered them. In a lifetime, you're going to meet many people. Some will simply pass you by. Some will blend into a crowd. Some will teach you along the way, and some will resonate and stay with you forever. They may even pull you in with a simple brilliance or a positive energy. After a full day of teaching at Jerome, I would try to attend Chris's cross-country meets. I knew that I would arrive a few minutes late, and those meets were quick. So I would purposely look for Brandy Little. She had the brightest smile and infectious energy, and I can hear her cheering on the athletes and was immediately drawn in. Go, Erica, you got this. Go, Freddie, finish the race. You can do it. She was hopping up and down and made me smile immediately with her North Branford pride. And back in the day, those few times that I picked up Chris's police uniforms at TJ's Laundrette, I felt like I was in a mom and pop coffee shop. Everyone was happy. Everyone was talking and catching up and drinking coffee. It was instant comfort. And Don, in addition to all of your central office responsibilities and deserved accomplishments, there is no more recognizable voice than yours for our 5:30 a.m. snow delays. This is a pre-recorded message from the North Branford Public School System. There will be a 90-minute delay. Again, I thought, shining star. No one can wake up the teachers better than you, Don. Of course, back to my very own twinkling North Star, Chris Manor. Chris was endorsed almost 30 years ago by our then superintendent, Don McCarthy, an energetic rookie police officer who would serve North Branford youth and influence his community with his coaching and police service. While serving the North Branford PD, Chris's titles included patrol officer, firearms instructor, SWAT official, and police sergeant. He grew to know our small community well. Additionally, Chris knew early on that high school athletics had provided him with a structure in his own life. He realized how important school sports had been to him. He had a love of basketball, he was a runner, and he was a hurdler in college. He decided to pay it forward and become a coach for the young athletes so that they could also have this positive outlet and opportunity. Over time, Chris would coach boys and girls in basketball, cross country, and track. His coaching career has paralleled his police work. He has enjoyed the thrills of victorious meets and games. He has watched athletes with pride as they improve over time and become a team. He has made lifelong friendships along the way. Some of his athletes are here tonight and have children of their own. Some of the many highlights of his coaching career included being instrumental in securing North Branford's first rubberized track so that we could actually hold meets in our own town. He began the first adult men's basketball league. He coached the freshman girls basketball team for over 10 years and led the boys basketball team with Coach Pete Schuler to a 19-1 season. For a while, he assisted his good friend, girls basketball coach Chris Berry, here tonight in North Haven. He assisted in Branford, only to return to his home of North Branford and lead the girls' JV basketball team. Sorry, everyone. If you have ever attended an event that Chris is hosting, you will feel his blood pressure rising and his passion for the game. You will feel your own blood pressure rising as well. His enthusiastic voice will resonate with you during the game and stay with you on your car ride home. He always tells his athletes that you can't say can't. He teaches them about hard work, teamwork, and the benefits of competition. There are many coaches in this room tonight. Have you ever thought about why you do it? The answer is very important because it will determine if you will be effective or not. If you coach to win games, you might be fulfilled, but your players won't learn much. If you coach with the ultimate goal of teaching players what it takes to succeed in life, it's a win-win for everyone. A coach is not only someone who trains an athlete or a team of athletes. A coach can be anyone who chooses to empower others. Coaches impart life lessons. I'm not sure if coaches realize the impact that they have on young athletes. They make a big difference. In addition to all of these accomplishments, Chris could be found at many fundraisers over the years. He would heckle you as he sat in a dunk tank booth. He would run around town to solicit sponsors and sell ads. He would also run to sell tickets for events and then run the courts with the Harlem Superstars or even the New York Giants. He is a negotiator, a networker, and a communicator. Raise your hand if he has ever said to you, "I'll call you back." He even joined the elementary kids last Friday at Jerome Harrison to read a featured Seuss book for our annual Read Across America Day. I want to say I'm very proud of you, Chris. I love you and never want you to underestimate the significance of your contributions. You have added value to the lives of so many people, including my own. And in closing, I would like to introduce our daughter, Kayla, who has a few shining words for her dad.
Hi, my name is Kayla Manor, and Chris Manor is my dad, and he has inspired me and encouraged me throughout my entire life. And since I was little,
Okay. Okay.
sorry, I watched him coach track, cross country, and basketball. And it reminds me how when I was little, sorry. I remember running with the high schoolers when I was only 5 or so, and I remember racing the girls up and down the basketball courts just for fun. But I also remember sitting on the bleachers, admiring my dad's knowledge and even his constructive criticism that he was giving to the girls. Now, when I'm at the age of 12, I'm the one receiving his knowledge and constructive criticism. My dad pushes me to stride with determination. I play basketball and I run on the cross-country team. I am honored to have my dad coach me through some of my favorite sports, and it is a pleasure to learn about working together with my teammates, but especially with my father. Without him, I would not be where I am today. I have plenty of room for improvement, but then again, who doesn't? Chris Manor is a great coach, and I'm sure that my teammates here tonight would agree. A coach teaches teammates how to have good attitude. He passes down his love of a sport and shows them new skills. He motivates them and he tells them to have good character. He teaches our team to be a team. Our team is a family that will hopefully win. First and foremost, he is my dad. My dad listens and loves his children. I believe my brother and the rest of my family would agree. On the tracks, the fields, and the courts, and even at home, he guides and he teaches me. He has dedicated his time into being an amazing father who always encourages me. I love my father and my coach. For these reasons, he is my shining star. Thank you.
Stay up here and get in the picture, okay? Push through. Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to thank the Academy. Once a famous person said, you have to know your limitations, and I can't top any of those speeches, so we're going to go into this fresh. First up, everyone, if you could turn off all the video. We all know what's going on in today's world with Hulk Hogan. I don't want any of that here. Speaking of video, I wear 8 hours a day. As soon as I get out of my car, it's on me. If I'm in my car, it's on me. Enough video. All right, the real reason, there's an over-under if I cry. So the video, I don't want any video. I am truly excited. You can put that on. I am truly excited to be here tonight. I did not tell Frank it was time after 7 years. That's completely false. I did talk to Frank about some things. I was going to do a magic trick. He said no magic tricks. So I was going to do a dance. They said, Coach, no dancing. So I'm just going to say a few words. It'll be brief. I don't talk a lot. I want to first thank everyone for attending the Education Foundation banquet. It is truly a great cause. I got involved with Scott a number of years ago, and what they do for North Branford is amazing. It's a truly, truly great foundation. Then I want to thank and congratulate my other shining stars. I've known each and every one of them probably close to 20 years, with the exception of Brandy. Probably about 7 years, but that's been enough. Hey, I have the mic. You can take your little map with all little signatures on it. Terry and Jimmy, when I first got on, 14 years ago when you opened up, truly was, we went in there. I watched their son Jim grow up. He gets an A+. That's a North Branford education there. And Brandy, that would be my committee for my speech next time. Just great people, truly involved in the community, willing to help out anytime. And Don, I've known Don since I've got here. We've worked together on numerous projects. He's very committed. He's quiet. He's a guy behind the scenes. But if you reach out to him, if you need something, pick up the phone. He'll deliver for you. Many times, schools have been opened, schedules have been changed for the children. He'll accommodate those. And Brandy is just a whole nother level. Now, I really wasn't going to get into it till she brought out that nice big poster. But truly, I've coached both her kids. They're wonderful. Freddie and Grace, where are you? All right. Very quiet, very dedicated to what they do, and they are so proud of their mom, and everyone in here should be also. Brandy, nice job. Lisa was right. Early on, I knew I wanted to coach, and I wanted to help student athletes, to help them improve not only as athletes, but as people. And I wanted to make the process fun. When I went through high school, it wasn't always fun. Your coaches, they yelled a lot, and I don't do that. And just for the record, I do know Michael Jordan. I was lucky to be given a platform that I could accomplish some of the things that I wanted to do. And that platform was, or is, North Branford. Coaching is not a job, but it's a gift. No matter how bad your day is, when you go into that practice or you go to that game and you see those student athletes respond to what you believe in and trying to attempt another level and get better every day, and you talk to them about that, it's just amazing. There's no such things as bad days. And I'd actually like to honor some of those athletes here tonight. I have athletes that are married with children. I've coached athletes who now I coach their children. And I have some athletes here present today. Can we give them a hand? It's about them. I also want to thank, there's a couple other coaches in here that I've worked with. And if you think that you know it all as a coach, then you will cease to grow. I was lucky enough to work with some really great coaches. One of them couldn't make it, but his wife showed up and present, and that's Gail Caprone. Thank you, Gail. Lisa mentioned Chris Barry. We had a great couple years in North Haven. Chris. It was just funny that I actually coached his wife, Lauren, who was a member of the Ed Foundation. So it's funny how life works. Not only as coaches, but most important, or very important, is the education staff in this school. Teachers, to security personnel, to nurses, to secretaries, to bus drivers, to ADs, assistant principals, principals, and superintendents. I can't tell you how much support that I have received over the years. And this award is really not about me, but about the support they give. So a hand to them. I also want to say thanks, special thanks, to the people I work with. To the North Branford table that's here tonight, and for many years, if I needed something, if I needed to get out early, to go to practice, to go to a game, they supported me. And what was very unique is when I retired and went to Branford, I found that same support there. Those guys are here tonight also. And like Brandy said, I appreciate you guys taking your time out. Life is so busy. We all have children, and you're here. And I appreciate that so much. So thank you over the years for all your support to those guys. Those guys will also keep you very grounded. And I want to thank a couple special people who I can have and talk to over the years. Captain Mark Genovese, Chief Michael Duty, and my now Chief Kevin Halloran. Thank you for your support. The whole of North Branford has always been so supportive and so important to what I do. It's not one person, it's not me, it's everyone involved that makes this work. There are so many people in this room that have gone out of their way to help North Branford's youth, and everyone should be recognized and proud of that fact. I am. I think as we get older, I'm not saying I'm old, I'm not saying that. We realize what's really important in life. And to see so much commitment from so many different people, I say to you, don't ever stop. And I'll use a word from Brandy: get involved, stay involved. I look around this room and I am humbled by the number of my friends, neighbors, teaching staff, coaches, athletes that are here. You have no idea how much it means to me. And I am truly blessed to have great friends and great family. I'd like a moment to share to you my shining stars. First, my biggest supporter from day one, my mother, who was able to attend. And of course, my two awesome kids, Kayla and Ashton. And last but definitely not least, my best friend, my campaign manager, who without them and without their help, I would not be here. I thank and love you all, and thank you, Foundation.
Chris said something about video. I'm glad you said that because I forgot to announce that we are being videotaped. It'll be on TotoketTV within a week or so. So if you haven't gotten enough of it today, you can watch it again on TotoketTV. I'm sorry that we have to end this evening, but some of the speakers went over their time limit, so I'd like to thank everybody for coming and apologize to Don Winicki for having a W for his last name. But without further ado, here to present Don Winicki is former superintendent of schools in North Branford, Donald J. McCarthy.
It took longer to walk here than the speech is going to take. But I have to tell you, I'm very happy to be here tonight and be back in North Branford, which was my home for many years. 38 years if you count my weeks of student teaching at Stanley T. Williams School. The last public appearance I had, on a positive note, was Michael Duty's retirement dinner. So I just don't come out for anybody, I have to tell you. In case you don't know, as I said, Don McCarthy, and someone said when I walked by with a cane, I heard the wife say to her husband, was he the first superintendent of schools? Thank you very much. The other news is I also believe in the Bob Dole, Senator Bob Dole's B rules. When it comes, I did it at my graduation speeches, principals will tell you that. Tell you at high school, I always made it short and quick. Parents don't come to hear me speak. They want to hear the name of the children being announced to be there, so I've lived up to that. So I'm going to be brief. I'm going to be sincere, and I'll be seated. Those are the B rules. I had a little bit of confusion. I had 3 speeches I had to do over the last couple of weeks. One was a eulogy. One was a stag party. And one was tonight. I just don't know what speech is in this pocket. So what I'll try to do is kind of gerrymander it for Don a little bit. I was going to start off with a lot of humor, but I have to tell you, it kind of captured my heart tonight. You brought back that old North Branford feeling. when I heard Jimmy Esposito talk about his parents, who I really don't know, but when I started here, there was Scobie's Hardware Store. There was Sansevero's Package Store. There were a lot of little family stores where I had their kids, I knew their people, and I grew up with that. Got my hair cut by Simmy, you know, God rest his soul, and people like that. Then I heard Rosie get up and talk about Brandy and how active she is in her dedication to this whole school district. And then, of course, Lisa, who had no choice but to talk well about Chris. I really wanted to do Chris tonight, okay? Nothing against Don, but he's like a good guy. It's like attacking a saint. Manor has so many opportunities to hit. As you probably know, we were both known as the Dons. And the principals would always refer to us as that behind our back, but we knew that. Don and I have been friends for over 27 years. And that's unusual, because usually when you work in a particular facility, you leave and you maintain some friendships. But we've lasted, with me being out now for 16 years, which makes me wonder, am I the only friend he had to speak tonight? I really don't get it. Now, I could read off this booklet about Don's past, but let me shorten it up a bit and tell you some of the real inside stories about Don Winicki you may not know. Some you may not want to hear. Are the grandkids asleep yet? You know, what people who know Don sometimes call him austere, unfriendly, unapproachable, competitive, non-compromising, great winner, poor loser, fiscal conservative, frugal, cheap. Private, removed, driven, taskmaster, and unforgiving. Now, those are the people who like him. But, you know, it takes a while. And I heard Chris say it. And Chris really summed it up, took some of my speech. And I'll close with that today, about the real Don. Because, you know, in the heavens there are a lot of stars. And there are a lot of shining stars. And there are some shooting stars, which people know they're just meteors that blow up in the atmosphere quickly. The shining stars are always there, consistently there. And they don't necessarily stand out unless you look at them, or you need them to find your direction, or you need them sometime to look for hope. And that's the Don Winicki I know. You see, in this job as superintendent, it's the most loneliest job in the world. Scotty will tell you that. We tend to be lone wolves. Administrators have their group, teachers have a group, every group has a group. You're a lone wolf. And occasionally it's great that you can call up on another person on an opportunity when there is a crisis in the system, or at 4 o'clock in the morning when I get a phone call, and it used to be Mike duty, and I'd roll over and I'd say to my wife, this is not good. And Mike would say, Don, we lost another one. We lost 2 or 3. And you know, the first guy on the scene was the Don. He would be there for me to sound off my frustrations. He had a connection to the community because he had 4 children walk through this program. He was involved in soccer, basketball, the first middle school teams, both men and women. He was very behind the scenes in getting the first girls soccer, our varsity soccer at the high school going. That's the Don I know. Get a call on him on a Sunday afternoon. Hate to tell you this, Totucket Valley water supply is broke. And the guy who was supposed to cover the job wasn't there. Don was there. Had the job half done, went over, got it started, and we went out afterwards and had a beer. Yeah, superintendent's drink, okay? You got a problem with that? In terms of coaching, I'm sitting with 2 guys, Greg and Chris, right? You had 2 coaches, am I not right? Manor and Winicki? They both deserve the Bobby Knight Hall of Fame Award. I was describing these 2 guys to a friend of mine who's a psychologist over at the university. I said, I don't know. This guy walks up and down the sideline, yelling and screaming, then sits in a chair arbitrarily and starts crying. He said, oh, he's manic depressive. I said, no, he's my basketball coach. He said, how did this? Don hit the ground running when he came to North Branford in 1981. He joined the first JCs. I don't know if any of you were around long enough that remember the old steak shack up at the Durham Fair. It was great. He used to advertise Black Angus. When Nicky gets involved, Mr. Frugal, and all of a sudden the steaks changed. There was also concurrently an investigation going on about missing milk cows from the Durham-Northford area. Brandy might appreciate this. Brandy, your time at the Northford Nursery School, Don was on one of the earliest committees. I think he was on the board of directors. And some of you might be too young to remember this. Being conservative, he decided to cut back the graham cracker allotment for the morning milk lunch. It's gone down in history as the great nursery school walkout. It's good to have Don around you. I mean, we're actually, I don't know how we get along so well. We're absolutely the opposite personalities. You know, I'd be the one to go, yeah, you got that, we can do that. And he'd go, no, you can't spend that money. I said, yeah, we can spend that money. You can't spend the money, it's not there. And somehow we'd get to a balance. Then the principals had figured this out. What Don do you hit first? Do you hit the Don first to see if we have the money? And go to the other Don who's in a good mood. It's a Monday, you know, and things are going to be great. And they had worked that out. But honestly, I'm going to cut all that out because I know you all want to get home and see the other Donald speak. But Dominic, he gave me a couple of quotes when he first came to work for me. And we met in 1989. He was coming in to meet then Superintendent Jack Mulrain as a new board member, both he and David Ford. I had a run on Ford. He was one of my students, so I didn't have to check him out. So I went into the network in Northford and said, check out this Winnicki guy, you know. Competitive, doesn't like to lose, bright, you know. It seemed from that first day, I was doing negotiations, he was doing negotiations for Upjohn. We hit it like this. He gave his time and energy. He wasn't even on the board yet, working till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning with me on negotiations. And this was, he has done all his life. As Chris said, Don is right under here. He's one of those stars you see up in the sky, but he's always there. And when you need him, he'll always step up for you in any kind of a crisis. His thing with me was, hey Don, always hire bright. Be credible. It counts for us in public service. And values matter. And you know, for the years we worked together, we kind of ran with that mantra, and I think we did okay. I think we did well in hiring some of the administrators that are still in place today, and that we're dealing with parents who I love hearing the tradition carries on. Look, he's a good friend from day one. I can go on and on about a lot of special things he has done, but you've sat here all night. And I just wanted to deliver to you how moved I am that North Branford hasn't changed. People used to ask me, where did you work? I said, the best kept secret in the United States. People don't get the T-birds hang tight. I go out in places, I see students who are still out there for years. You get a hug on the street. Sometimes I got to look. You hugging me, why? Yeah, you suspended me 3 times? No, you wrote me a recommendation to high school. There are students of mine in this audience. I'm not going to mention them because they gave me trouble in the years 1. But Don, you've been a crisis manager. You're the first to step up there. All those words I used in the beginning, I'm going to change them. You were warm, you're approachable, you have great values, you put your family above all, and I am very, very proud to call you friend. You are well-deserved this award along with all of the recipients here. Your Don, I think I would have liked the stag speech. But it's this particular time, I'd like to call to the podium my dear friend, the business manager and director of personnel for North Branford, Don Winnicki.
Take your picture, right? I would have
Thank you very much. I don't want to break the stone for you.
He didn't let you down. No, no, no. Come over here with him.
Thank you, Don. I was going to thank Don for a few kind words, but after 27 years, I probably should have known better. So I'll just say thank you. Lisa, you did okay, but this is a pre-recorded message from the North Branford Public Schools. And by the way, we have school tomorrow, or?
We're on the fence right now.
Okay. I'd also like to thank, or to congratulate rather, the other recipients tonight. Terry and Jim, who I visit from time to time, and I'm always greeted with a smile. Chris, who I've known for many, many years, going back to those early basketball days. And Brandy, for the work you do at Totucket Valley. I'm really going to be brief tonight because my star has been shining a little bit longer than some of the other people's. So I have 3 special people at my table who are probably getting close to being done. My wife Carol is here with my 4 children, my adopted children by their the marriage or other. And then the three little guys, there actually is one who's home, and she's probably sleeping, and some of you are probably jealous. But I do want to say, you know, when I think about North Branford, one of the things, and this happens at this time of year because I will always get my call from my friend Lars Sealander, who is in charge, who's been running the North Branford Scholarship Organization that his family started over 50 years ago. And when he does that, it always gives me the opportunity to reflect on all of the things that have happened in North Branford and all of the good people who've been associated with groups like that. And so I'm going to close by saying, keep doing what you're doing and keep making this a great community for our young people to grow up in. Thank you.
Okay, before we bring up Scott, following Scott, we're going to have the raffle, and then if all the recipients could come up after that so we can get a picture of all of them together. And now for closing comments, our lone wolf, Scott Schoonmaker.
Thank you. Thank you. Frank, is this thing on? Okay. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for, again, coming out to support the Ed Foundation. I think the Ed Foundation certainly deserves a round of applause for our 5 recipients tonight. You did an outstanding job in the selection process. It's an honor to be here. As Don McCarthy mentioned about the life of a superintendent. I've been in North Branford for 7 years, and I can state with conviction and confidence it's about the people in this community. We don't have the best facilities, we don't have the best buildings or resources, but we've got the best people. And the children that are here tonight, our youngsters, they know that it's more than bricks and mortar, and they know that these people love them and care for them each and every day. And that's why they're here tonight as former players and students. So thank you for being here tonight. I will be brief. The people that have been mentioned here tonight, you've become much more than co-workers, you're friends. I cherish our relationships. I cherish the time I get to spend with you in and out of the school system, and I know that will continue on throughout my life and my career, and I thank you. So with that, I close, and Frank, I know we're going to do the raffle now and move on. Yes? Yeah.